There is one last person that I'd like you to meet before we start our walk. She's the founder of Center for OCD, Anxiety, and Eating Disorders with practices in New York and Los Angeles, and specializes in treating OCD, anxiety disorders, body-focused repetitive behaviors, body dysmorphic disorder, and eating disorders using evidence-based approaches such as cognitive behavioral therapy and exposure and response prevention therapy. Her passion for OCD treatment and advocacy stems from her personal experience with the disorder, driving her commitment to education and support within the OCD community. It is my honor to introduce Alegra Kastens as our 2025 Grand Marshal. Does this work? Oh, okay.
Okay. Can y'all hear me? Okay, I talk so loud, so if at any point y'all are like, my ears, just clap, do something, okay? I'm gonna set this right here for now, okay. Thank you so much for being here. I'm so honored to be the Grand Marshal of this walk, and community has been such an invaluable part of my own recovery journey. I have my best friend in the world, Chris Tronston, right here, and I met him through living with OCD. Now I can never leave him alone. And it is just such an honor to be here with so many people who understand what it's like to live with this condition. So I'm going to read off of this because I don't have it memorized, but we can do our best. Okay. 10 years ago, I had a sudden and severe onset of OCD that attacked everything that I knew about myself. Out of the blue, I started experiencing unwanted sexual intrusive thoughts and images quite literally 24/7. It came out of the blue, out of nowhere. They were scary sexual thoughts about kids and animals and family members and colleagues and friends and strangers and basically all of you. No, I'm kidding. Basically everyone. You all get a thought. And these were scary thoughts that I vowed I would take to my grave. Now, 10 years later, I'm in the process of writing a memoir with a Big 5 publisher about my lived experience with OCD. And as Brené Brown says, shame thrives on secrecy, silence, and judgment. But shame diminishes as we speak openly about our experiences and learn that we're not alone. And you're not alone. I can assure you that if you've thought it, I've definitely thought it. And I don't feel shame in the way that I used to, by any means. What I once thought was the worst thing in the world is what I'm sharing so openly with the world, and that is so possible. Speaking of 10, I'm gonna grab this. 10 is also the age my dog Coco Chanel turns today. She said, Mom, if you're not gonna be here, you better show me off. So take a good look, everyone. She's the pit bull. But, put this back down. 10 is an age that I wouldn't get to see if I had given her back to the rescue, and that's what I really wanted to do when I was struggling with OCD. And it's not that I wanted to get rid of her, it's that I wanted to stop experiencing the vile sexual thoughts that I was experiencing when I rescued her. And now, what's so wild, believe it or not, I do not experience those thoughts about her at all. I just experience her. And now, yay, shout out Coco. And now I don't cry because of what my brain is doing to me around Coco. I cry because I literally cannot ever imagine a life without her. They need a drug to extend the lives of dogs, is all I know. 9 years ago, I thought that I would have to give up my dream of having kids. I've always known, it's the truest thing I've known about myself, that I was born to be a mother. And POCD really stole that from me in the midst of my suffering. Now, kids cannot come soon enough. OCD did not stop me from moving toward the life that I want to live, but being single is stopping me from that. So if there are any takers, I'll be backstage in 10 minutes. Matthew's like, we did not approve of this in the speech. 10 years ago, I really believed that OCD was the end of my life, that my brain would never be the same, that I would have to live with these terrorizing, intrusive thoughts 24/7, literally from the moment I woke up until the moment that I went to sleep. It was all consuming. And then sometimes in my dreams, I don't know if anybody relates to this, but I was so afraid to go to sleep because I didn't want to experience the thoughts in my dreams. So I would stay up as late as I could because I was that afraid of my own brain. Now all I want to do is sleep. I'm like, Chris, we need first class later so I can take a nap. I really wished for before the OCD for so long because I was worried that I would be stuck in the after. And I'm here to say that that was not accurate, as so many of our fears are very inaccurate. 10 years later, I consider myself to be in the after of the after. And what that means for me is 97% recovered. Of course, I get the occasional intrusive thought, who doesn't? Literally on the way here, I was thinking about if I was nervous, and I wasn't all that nervous, but my brain went to an old fear, which was like, what if you just blurt out an intrusive thought on the stage? Then I was like, I feel like this is the crowd for it, okay? Everybody here is like, same. And most of the time I don't meet diagnostic criteria for OCD, and that's really important for me to share because I think so often we hear that there's no cure and that it's chronic, and I think what that makes people believe is that you're just going to suffer for the rest of your life, and that does not have to be true. Like, I literally feel like I have a different brain than I did 10 years ago during the onset. Aw, thank you. Of my symptoms, and I did get a lobotomy. No, I'm kidding. Okay. I got a part chopped off. So it is absolutely, I use humor a lot. I feel like when you live with this condition, you just got to find something, you know? It's possible to get better, even when, like me, you've wanted a lobotomy, even when you've thought that you were literally the worst case of OCD to walk into a therapist's office, which that was definitely me. I was like, babe, have you seen this before? Because I don't think you have. She said, I'll do my best. But OCD recovery is so possible. You can live a brilliant, beautiful life with it. I love my life. I don't think I'll ever get to a point where I'm, grateful to be living with OCD, but what I can say is that my life is so much more beautiful than it was before OCD. So OCD didn't take that from me. As we walk united, raising OCD awareness here today, let's do it with pride. Let's do it for people out there who are struggling and who don't yet have a diagnosis. Let's do it for the people just entering treatment who are nervous about the path forward. And let's do it for community. Today, we're taking one huge step forward in bringing awareness to OCD, this silent and often debilitating disorder. This is truly a full circle moment for me. I'm so honored to kick off this walk. I'm stoked to be here. We're gonna have so much fun today. Thank you so much for having me.